Right, still morning, so good morning. My name is Orion, Orion in English, Orion Loki Water Spirit. That is my actual name. It is legal. I changed it by deed poll on the 2nd of April. That's when that became legal, alright? I'll just turn that down a little bit. So, this is raw, I'm unediting it. I don't believe in all that. I can't be bothered sitting on a computer and doing all that stuff. So what it is what it is, and I'll put it out on YouTube. All right. FU2 Shaded LA is a good tune. There's been a lot of people who've all got their 10 pence to put in about what I should be doing. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. Do you know what? Don't listen to any of them. I trust in my own self. I'm usually right about most things. I usually do people's jobs better than what they can do theirs. That comes down to something called pineal gland decalcification. I've done mine. Makes you think quicker, smarter, better. Alright? So anyway, moving on from that. My name change, it is genuine. That is my legal name, Orion Loki Water Spirit. There's a load of reasons for that, but we will get back to that. I am Oglala Sioux tribe. If you don't know your American history, Native American history, have a look. Oglala Sioux. Yeah, Custer would have remembered them, that's for sure. I'm Oglala Sioux tribe. That's where Water Spirit comes from, and that was a near-death experience. I'm very honoured to have the name, my new family name. So that goes on to another great tune. Let's see if I can get that to play actually. Ziggy, can you play Change It by Diego Miranda?
Here's Change It, extended mix by Diego Miranda on Amazon Music.
Yeah, we can. So if you don't like something, change it. Diego Miranda, great tune. And there's a lot of advice in music. So if you listen to the words, and that's what people don't do, they hear songs and they just hear them. They're not really paying attention to the words. There are clues, there are messages, there are just amazing things in music. As you'll see on the title, DJ Diaries Undercovered, music is one of my main passions in life, yeah. And both the DJing side and music production is what I want to go into as well, but I'm doing all this on absolutely zero budget. I've actually got, what we're on, it's the 11th. I've got about £5. Private phone numbers coming through, I'm not going to answer that. I've got like £5 to last me until the 5th of May. See, the only reason I'm even getting a phone signal is because I've got the sliding door open. Otherwise, I've built a Faraday cage in my van, so I don't get phone signal, so I don't get bothered by phone calls, and I keep my phone on silent all the time. So that's that. That was Change It. Diego Miranda. Good tune.
Stop watching TV. Life is simple. If you're looking for the love of your life, stop. They will be waiting for you when you start doing things you love.
A good message.
Stop overanalyzing. Life is simple. If you don't like something, change it. If you don't like your job, quit. If you don't have enough time, stop watching TV. Life is simple. Life is simple. Life is simple.
It's an absolute banger. Right, anyway, moving on. Turn it down a bit. Like I say, I'm not really planning any of this, as I've made a couple of little notes, so I don't want to miss something. But it is what it is. And in terms of the DJing side, I'll let you know that as well. So my laptop is not compatible with Rekordbox, so DJing's on a bit of a hold at the moment. I've got a playbook like you wouldn't believe. That is my playbook. It's got a mushroom on it because I studied with the Mayans and I've also studied with the Inca. So the Mayans mushroom is TOJ, spelled T-O-J, Fire Atonement. That's my playlist. It's all categorised. I've got probably about 5 years worth of DJing in there, all into different categories. But I can't put them onto Rekordbox because it's not an i5 or over and it's not 8 gig or over, so it doesn't work. So do you know what? I'm focusing on breathwork, of which I'm going to be one of the world's top coaches. That brings me on to Wim Hof. Wim Hof, he's done a lot of good. He's also causing a lot of harm. I've had to deal with several near hypothermic, more mature ladies, elderly ladies, whatever you want to call them, because they're following the advice of Wim Hof. Wim Hof gets away with it because he's fat. He's called an endomorph in modern medical terms, Western terms. I don't like that. I'm Ayurveda, so I'm a 5,000-year-old wellness program. Now, the East knew about stuff way before the West did. The West is playing catch up. So in East, in Ayurveda terms, Indian terms, if you like, he's a kappa. Now, I'm not. I'm a dominant Vata dosha. I'm of a slender body type. If I get in the water in Cornwall at this time of year, water is very cold. I would likely have either a heart attack, cold water shock, hypothermia. It's not fun. If you're of a very slender body type, do not be getting into cold water at this time of year. Not in Cornwall. Madness. Don't do it. Just my thoughts. Anyway, Wim Hof's he's got lawsuits pending. I'm intending on taking his place. Now, I'm going to be like Marmite. You're either going to love me or you're going to hate me. And do you know what? I don't care. You make up your decisions. Make your own choices. Let's move on. Let's change up the music a little bit. Ziggy, can you play Resilient by Rising Appalachia?
Resilient by Rising Appalachia on Amazon Music.
Yeah, we can. We can change it. It knows this. So I like an absolute range of music. Go back to music for a second. I love a range of music, lots of different genres. So lots of chill stuff, but then a lot of EDM, electronic dance music. Stuff from when I was growing up would be like, Nirvana, like the grunge scene, Rage Against the Machine, all these different people, and there's all messages in all of these songs as well, clues. And they've got great voices. Appalachia, close your mouth and learn to listen. It's good advice. Sometimes I do that, and I need to. A lot of the time, I just sit there really quietly and I listen to people, and they are making the most awful mistakes, but it's their mistakes to make, and I could give them the answers. But you know what? They're not going to listen to me. They're not prepared to pin their ears back and listen. Now, I've got a lot of stuff that I could tell people. I'm actually going to give you a little bit of a lesson on policing in a minute and how to screw back I've got an issue with Devon and Cornwall Police, my former employer. I was an undercover operative, a covert human intelligence source, so I was boots on the ground for the majority of my career. I was also a uniformed officer. I've got numerous, prior to that I was a lifeguard. I've got numerous sports leadership awards. I will be a yoga teacher as well. I'm going to do my training in India. And breathwork coach. I will be one of the top in the world. And all sorts of things. So breathwork, I currently thank you to Louise, Dan, and now the Stig. I'm not going to sort of publicly go into too much of that at the moment, but let's just say I'm assisted and helped by some of the top breathwork coaches in the world, if not the top. But this is a bit more about who I am and other stuff like that at the minute. We'll get onto that stuff later. So the police, I've got my issues with the police at the moment. They are causing delays on everything. So the police are trying to get out of paying me compensation, and they're trying everything they can do. They're actually trying to pin an offence of theft by employee on me at the moment. I'm pretty sure it's my honest held belief that they're trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me by timing me out, by keep putting delays on things. I was due on bail, where I could have all been sorted, due back on bail on the 9th. Now they sent a message to me very late afternoon on the 8th, which was hidden in some junk file somewhere. I've got 5 email addresses, and it was hidden in a junk thing, which fortunately I'm on it and I caught it to say it's now been moved to the 20th, which puts a delay on it. So I've actually gone down to Falmouth Police Station to go to the inquiry office to give them the answers as to why there is no offence. The inquiry office was closed. It said sorry for the inconvenience, closed until Monday, and I ended up turning around 8 disgruntled people away. I got on the wall phone. I waited over an hour and I just sat on the floor. I did some mindfulness, I did some doodling on my hand, I did some breathwork techniques. I was chilled as a cucumber, and I just waited it out for an hour until I finally got through to someone, and I've logged 3 additional complaints to the 5 I've already got against Devon and Cornwall Police from when they arrested me and banged me up in a cell for 11 hours, did a section 18 on my van, that's a search of my van, searched me, interviewed me twice. They actually forgot to feed me, but I let that one slide. So I've actually got 8 complaints running against them at the moment, and counting. So the answers, I was arrested for theft by employee because they're convinced that I still have a Devon and Cornwall Police warrant card, which I categorically do not. That was taken from me by professional standards officers from Crown Hill Police Station, Plymouth. They came over the bridge to Cornwall, where I was then living, still do, but they came to my then home address. I signed my suspension papers. They requested my warrant card. I gave them my warrant card, and they've gone back over the bridge or whatever. They've left my home address with it. I wasn't allowed anywhere near the station, and that was because of a one-off drink drive incident. It was a stupid thing to do. I hold my hands up to it. But a contributing factor to that was the fact that Devon and Cornwall Police did not look after me following a year-long undercover job when I came back. I had death threats as a result of that job because the police, my host force, did not do what they should have done, and that was leaving me some space. But anyway, apparently I'm not allowed to complain about that because I was a serving officer still. I'm not a serving officer anymore, so I'm going to have a whinge and a moan about that one too. So the police were a contributing factor to my drink drive. Anyway, I haven't made a complaint about that. I've now made a complaint about the fact that because of that, I was suspended. I wasn't allowed anywhere near the station, so I obviously still have my warrant card at my then home address. So officers from Crown Hill Police Station came over, did my suspension papers, requested my warrant card. I've given it to them. They've left. Now, not being funny, they were probably at the end of their careers, and a new computer system had come in called Niche. Now, Niche, no one knew how to use, especially the property system. They would not have liked it. They've gone back over the bridge to Crown Hill, Plymouth, and failed to enter my warrant card onto the system. Now, that now affects me. I know they haven't entered the warrant card on the system because that was let slip by Falmouth Professional Standards Department, that my card is not on the system. So, breach of process, which is one of the complaints I've made against Devon and Cornwall Police. Professional Standards Plymouth have committed a breach of process against me. They have not signed my warrant card in, and that has subsequently led to my arrest. It is a breach of process whatever way you look at it. So Devon and Cornwall will be paying me compensation for my incarceration. They've taken my freedom away. And the reason why, and I'm going to explain this, the reason why it is a breach of process either way is either the officers haven't done their job properly and they have not requested my warrant card, leaving me in possession with it, which is a big no-no, and that is not what has happened, or they did and they've left and gone back over that bridge, and Devon and Cornwall Police, it's one force, but there's a massive divide between everything either side of that bridge and the Tamar. It operates like 2 different forces. So they've gone back over the bridge with my warrant card, not booked it on. Subsequently, that's led to my arrest very recently. We're talking years later on down the line. absolute load of nonsense. So it's a breach of process because either they haven't done their jobs properly and they've left me in possession with a warrant card, or it is a breach of process, which is the way it's happened because they've taken my warrant card, they've gone back over, they've not booked it in, which is the breach of process, and that has subsequently led to my arrest. So either way, Devon and Cornwall Police are screwed and they will be paying me my compensation. Right, breathwork is great because it keeps you calm even in stressful situations. All right, so I do things in a holistic way. I'm a holistic through and through, right? Most people would be dead in my situation I'd give him 1 to 3 weeks. Wim Hof would definitely be dead. I give him a week doing what I do. So I actually did February on 26 pence and got through February, and that's all in, everything. My normal budget is £10 and 8p a week, which is not a lot to live off, and that is still paying off like my phone bill, this, that and the other, and try not to default on any payments. Now that is really difficult to do on £10. Once all those payments have gone out, I'm left with £10 and 8p a week. Really not a lot to live off. Most people, I do not recommend you try this, by the way, but I've been through worse and I'm generally always smiling. I don't actually have a bad day and I don't suffer with stress or anxiety, and that's because I know how to deal with it. So please do not try to do what I do at home. I'm fairly unique, I'm different, alright? I like to think we're all special, but some of us are a little bit extra. That'll be me. Alright, let's change this up a minute. Ziggy, can you play S&M Rihanna, please?
S&M by Rihanna on Amazon Music.
Right, S&M Rihanna. I'm also a tantric sexuality teacher. People shouldn't be afraid to talk, to communicate, obviously with consent to a partner. I updated my Facebook bio, and under hobbies, I was amazed to find, I was like, I'll have a little play. So we've got cooking, we've got massage on there, we've got yoga obviously, breath work, and then I typed in, I just thought, just an experiment, I typed in BDSM. Only 454 brave souls have actually put BDSM as a hobby, so I've gone, boom, I've joined them. So, as Rihanna says, chains and whips, excites her. Good girl. Right. I'm just rattling through it. So the police, yeah. So I've given them the answers as to why there's no offence against me. Theft. So the definition of theft is to dishonestly appropriate property belonging to another with the intention of permanently depriving the other of it. It's the easiest definition in law by far to learn. The key words there are dishonesty. So they have to prove dishonesty, yeah? So there's something called mens rea actus reus, and that's a guilty mind and a guilty action. And there is no guilty mind there. I've explained several times over in interview to the police as to why there is no offence. They're just dragging it out and the hope that, I don't know, they're just trying to desperately pin some things to avoid paying compensation, which they do owe me massively for what they've done. The incompetency is absolutely unbelievable. Flag, wind. Like I say, this is live. Well, this is just what it is. So this is reality of... Should we give you a quick van tour? Here you go. So this is what my van is like. So, I don't know if you can see that. I've not tidied up or anything. This is just how I live. I'm relatively clean and tidy. So, I've been very fortunate that I've travelled the world. I've seen lots of things. So we've got like little things that remind me of stuff, like from Fiji, from Thailand. I spent time with Buddhist monks in Thailand, and I have a Sakyan on the top of my back, which coincidentally no one will now stick and poke me in the UK that I've found so far, because I had a Sakyan from an Ajahn Toy De Boss over in Thailand, and if I mention that to people, they generally won't stick and poke me because I don't want to have tattoos with machines anymore. I want traditional methods. Anyway, this is the van. So this is let's try and get that. I haven't done the washing up from my porridge cacao this morning, by the way, and this is what I live like, and I love it. There you go. Thank you, Rihanna. Right, so let's try and prop you back up there again. Where was I? That's a little quick tour of the van. See, I love living in my van, and guess what? I've paid enough council tax over the years. I was one of the highest earners in I certainly earned more than the inspector anyway, and that was because of the amount of hours I was working on undercover operations. So I don't feel guilty about it. In fact, no fear, no shame, no guilt. That's one of my sayings, and one that I live by. I don't fear fucking anything. I have no shame, and I have no guilt. DNC need to crack on, get on with their investigation, have no case to answer against me, and then they can start paying me my compensation, and then that pays for the accreditation of my courses and the accreditation that will be required to satisfy people in the West. I already know how to do pretty much all of the methods, or most of the methods, but in order to satisfy people who want coaching, they want certificates in the West. So that's what I'm going to have to do. So when DNC pay me my compensation, I can pay for my own courses, my breathwork courses, and I've got a couple of ideas of what's going on with that. But I will be one of the top coaches in the world. Like I say, Wim Hof would be dead in 1 week doing what I do. He would not cope. That is a guarantee. So theft, I've explained theft, I've explained the definition, and also the guilty mind side of it. So that is why there is no offence, there is no case against me. It's just taking Devon and Cornwall Police an extraordinary amount of time, because they're desperate not to pay out compensation to me, to figure this out. So I've given them the answers. I've actually made complaints against the 2 officers, the OIC, they're both sergeants, so an OIC and the authorising officer on the extension of the bails, the fact they've moved my bail back to the 20th of April. That leads me on to another fact. When you're living off £10 and 8p a week, I've actually said I'm not going to attend bail on the 20th unless you provide me either transport there or the money for fuel, which they don't currently do. They expect people to somehow jump through hoops and get back for bail because it suits them, so because they can sit on their fat arse and not leave the station. Guess what? I'm not doing that unless they want to provide me with transportation to Camborne custody. I'm not sitting in the back of a van either. I'm non-violent, or fuel money, and I'll drive myself there. But I want expenses for that. Let's just go to somebody who I do breath work with, Dan Brulé. He's the world's #1. His going rate is $10,000 to $12,000 a day corporate. So this is something which I could have potential earnings of, given the right marketing and PR, and doing a good job. So Devon and Cornwall are going to pay me $10,000 for my time returning to Camborne. I'm not going to, for now I'll settle for transport there. If I have to return, they should have dealt with this stuff ages ago. Transport there, or they give me fuel money. I'll get myself there and back. And then they can bin off the charges, of which it's absolute ridiculousness. It is nonsense. So they can get rid of that, and then they can get on with paying my compensation. I do have plans, massive plans. I'll go into that at a later date. My yoga teacher training, I plan on doing in India, birthplace of yoga. I plan on visiting my tribe, the Oglala Sioux, in South Dakota. I want to drop in on a few other people. I'd quite like to go to Brazil and meet some of the yoga teachers I've chatted to who are from and do great work with Flow Education Brazil. And that's one of my other ideas, an under-18s yoga program. And their style of yoga and the flow behind it is very much vinyasa based. It's perfect. So I'd like to drop in on Brazil as well. I'd also like to go to China because that's where Yin Yoga's from, another one of my favourites. I'd like to get my instructors, if you like, my teachers in Yin Yoga, but in China. So I've got a world tour kind of planned in my head, but it's all money related, which the key is Devon and Cornwall Police paying me my compensation. Anyway, right, that's a few other things. Let's change this up a little bit. Ziggy, play Push the Tempo by KTB.
Here's Push the Tempo by Sub Focus and Katie Z on Amazon Music.
Another great tune. Like I say, I like a lot of different genres. I like drum and bass. I like house in all its varieties. A lot of meditation I do is actually to progressive house, as weird as that sounds. I don't sit down very much. I'm not a sitter downer. So some people will advocate that for meditation. I'm a walking meditator. That's where clarity comes to me. That is part of the third eye, the ajna, or pineal gland decalcification. It's seeing the ability to see and think clearly, yeah? Something which most of Devon and police do not have. In fact, there wasn't very many people who do have it. Fortunately, I do. Anyway, music and yoga, and breath work. That is part of yoga. Yoga is breath work. Breath work is yoga. My main passions in life. Took a massively traumatic experience over the last year or so for me to figure all this out, by the way. Didn't come quick. It's been a gradual process, partly due to a spiritual awakening that happened on the 15th of February 2025. Thanks for that. She'll know who she is. Wouldn't change a thing. Yeah. So, don't know what else to say really. That'll probably do for a minute. One of my favourite tunes at the moment, and this goes back to Diego Lasu, is, let's just play it. Ziggy. Play Great Spirit by Armin van Buuren and Vinny Vici.
Here's Great Spirit, extended mix.
Psytrance. Psytrance is amazing. I love drum and bass, I love house, I love reggae, I love all sorts of things, but Psytrance, there are so many clues in Psytrance. This is kind of like my anthem, Great Spirit, Armin van Buuren and Vinny Vici. And my surname is a great honour. Thank you. My new family name, I should say. Skip it on a bit. Such a tune, it's an absolute banger. Anyway, I'm going to leave you go because then I can get on with my day. But Great Spirit, Armin van Buuren and Vinny Vici. It's kind of like my theme tune. Absolutely love it. Have a great day. Namaskar, everyone. And yeah, I'm not saying you're going to like what you see or like what you hear, but I definitely have different viewpoints than probably a lot of people. So catch you later. Bye bye bye. Bad boy yoga.